Here are 3 bulking tips you could use as an intermediate lifter for your bulk. Now bulking's cool because of Sam Sulek, so we're all on this bulk train all together this time. The whole fitness industry decided to take a stride forward, away from the Andrew Eubanks scene of trying to be lean year out. Main gain, but like sub 10% body fat. Like no one's doing that anymore because we want to make progress. We want to see a difference in our physique 1 to 2, 3 years from now. And so it's time to bulk. We're all into this wave of bulking now, investing into your physique for next summer so you can look really damn good. But there's a couple of rules that you have to abide by, specifically 3 rules that we're going to go over in this video to make sure that you do not waste your bulk or end up getting fatter than what you have to be. And so at the end of it, you still look like you lift or you don't look like Michelin Tire Man. Now let's get into it. Number 1, it's a rudimentary rule, but it's also one that's overlooked. And that is choose a goal body weight. Now, if this is your first bulk, it's not a great idea to directly choose a random number, be like, hey man, I think I want to get to like 250 pounds, but you're 160 pounds soaking wet. Probably not a smart move because the first 20 pounds might be lean mass, but after that, you're just a potato. And so because you are experienced lifting, you're not going to get the same benefit as someone just starting out in the gym, going through that noob gain phase unless you've been trained like absolute ass. So I strongly urge you to choose a weight that is realistic with your current body composition. If you're above 15% body fat, maybe it's not the smartest move to go on a bulk. I'm assuming you're around 12 to 13% body fat, on the leaner side of course, because you want to gain weight. You don't have to get super technical and nerdy about it, but try to estimate where you think you'd be okay at a couple percentages higher, like 15% body fat, with of course added muscle mass to your frame. Now that you chose a specific goal, it's also important to realize that you might be a little bit more, you might be a little bit less, but the goal is to hover around that body weight so you know what type of body composition you're at before reassessing if your bulk is going well. And in terms of gaining weight on a bulk, of course, you're going to be higher body fat percentage with hopefully enough muscle mass to justify that fat gain. And remember, before choosing what goal weight you're trying to get at, it's not about reaching a certain body weight, because if you really want to chug a bunch of water, get a lot of sodium in, you're going to gain a ton of water weight, and that's not necessarily going to mean that you gained any muscle mass. It's more so a milestone in your bulking journey to reassess if it's time for point number 2. Now, a lot of second time, third time, even fourth time bulkers do not know this. You should aim to have a pit stop, aka a mini cut. I like to think of a mini cut as getting a haircut as you're trying to grow out your hair, just to not look super dirty and homeless. It's kind of like taking off the sides while keeping the top long-ish. Might be a crappy analogy, but essentially what I'm trying to say is that you're trying to get rid of excess weight fat mass that you've gained along with some of the water weight, because you're going to lose water weight if you're losing weight, while trying to preserve the progress that you've made on this surplus so far, in which a mini cut serves the purpose of lasting up to 6 weeks before having negative side effects, having hormone suppression or diet fatigue, because we're not really prioritizing conditioning, we're just trying to be slightly more conditioned. In this mini cut, it's important to realize that you want to drop your training volume and maybe prioritize the training intensity, as if you do keep the training volume pretty high, you might enter a state of junk volume or feel constantly fatigued, resulting in subpar performance in the gym, resulting in subpar gains. Now, for some people, if you're oriented in just hypertrophy and you spend tons of time doing lots of volume, a mini cut could kind of be looked at as a deload from high volume training, especially if you have achy joints or small lingering injuries. And it also could serve as a period of rehabilitation, depending how healthy you are physically. Now, my last and final point, which is the third point of this video, be specific with your goals in training. Now, I'm not just talking about specificity for powerlifting. I'm talking about if you want to grow, focus on growth. If you want to get stronger, you still have to focus on growth. But also, if you're powerlifting oriented with this bulk, focus on building size, get bigger muscles, then focus on being more specific with this bulk and this newfounded weight with the squat, bench, deadlift. Pretty much powerlifting hypertrophy. Now, if you're in this boat of power building, I'm sorry to say, but do not try to hit massive 1-rep maxes while trying to bulk, because you might just get subpar performance for your hypertrophy training and subpar progress for your powerlifting training. If you really want to know what power building is, it's catering your needs to different blocks of training, similar to hitting different body parts that are weak points in your physique at different times, different mesocycles, blocks of training. And so if you try to go for every type of rep range while trying to push hypertrophy at the same time, you might burn yourself out getting inferior powerlifting results and worse, inferior hypertrophy results. And if you do not know why you're even bulking, do not go into a serious caloric surplus expecting just to make progress. Just go in a slight surplus and you'll still make a decent amount of progress. But if you really want to grow and you want to get bigger and stronger, make sure to isolate what goals you have at hand. The last 6 months, I've been isolating my training split purely for hypertrophy. Okay, maybe not purely, but like 95% of it hypertrophy, and I've added in just a little bit of squat, bench, deadlift just to keep whatever motor patterns I had from my previous training, in which I'm currently able to bridge this current style of training, which is a very powerlifting purist style of training. And to be honest, if your goal is powerlifting, you could run a mini cut with a powerlifting block and get pretty great results because you have to lower your training volume anyways from accessories, and you could use that high intensity training to your advantage for the squat, bench, and deadlift, which would work great for a peaking block. Now, if you're sitting here thinking, I don't even have structured training, maybe you should go check out another video beforehand. Maybe I can make a part 2 to this video, a beginner's way to bulk. Now, if you do not have a particular goal at hand, I strongly suggest not starting a serious bulk, aka bulk where you go up a lot in calories, until you do these 3 things. First one being choosing a realistic and attainable goal weight, assessing when to mini cut and how to prolong your bulk to make continued hypertrophy progress so you don't get too fat to the point where you look like crap. And number 3, choose the points in time where you want to prioritize different styles of training, even if you're power building, because as you get to the intermediate stage of lifting, training gets more difficult to put on more muscle mass, more pounds to the bar for squat, bench, and deadlift. And I hope this video helps. Lastly, thank you everyone's support. Use code JUSTLY for huge supplements. Young LA. Peace out.